Alright, so we're going to be trying a 10-0 today. Let me fix this filter real quick before I make too many moves. Alright, we'll play a Sicilian. Looks like we're black again. 350 should be good. Alright, cool. Alright, so we've got the timer, we've got the players and everything. We're going to play a Sicilian. So 4 black games so far. We're going to go into a Najdorf, hit the e4 pawn. So he has to play knight c3, and it kind of prevents him from playing c4. My standard plan is usually to play e5. He comes back here. Both bishops end up setting up on e7 and e6. I find it doesn't matter which one because my next 2 moves are generally the same. And if he does a move like that, I want to be careful about playing that too quickly. So I feel like castling or knight b to d7 makes sense here. He can't easily jump in here. I'll just play the knight first because then I can get a quick b5 in and I've got space, although maybe not right away. Let me castle because he's not doing anything aggressive. He's not doing a queenside castle. I think I've got some time here. The difference here, I didn't get my bishop in. I just realized that. Played a little too quick. That bishop needs to be there. Because now if I play, yeah, my plans are a little confusing. I could do the knight here and maybe get a d5 in. He's got 1, 2 defenders. I've got 2 attackers. I lose protection of this. Yeah. If I play here and his bishop comes in, I'm taking, and then I think I can play bishop d5. Alright, I think it's okay. He comes here, I can take with pawn, I guess is best. Bishop slides in, I'm taking, knight takes, bishop here. I think I can play that pretty quickly. If he takes my bishop, that's okay to me. Got everything kind of covered. And my bishop didn't go where I anticipated. Maybe it does make sense to play bishop e6 first. My bishop's being hit. I can't make use of this square, so I may have to do something like this to exchange it. If he pushes this pawn and I take, this becomes a weakness on e4. I don't feel like I played this game the best so far, though. He's contemplating if he wants to push. If he pushes, I can also go here and try to get some control of the dark squares rather than being a defensive piece. He normally would have queen up here, castle, so there's more pressure on this pawn, but there's not much going on there. Could also think about here hitting this at some point. This is a point of tension I want to keep. I'll just take back, and again, if he pushes, I'm okay. Okay. I don't really want to take. Let's see. Where do my pieces want to be? Queen is tied down to the bishop. Knight wants to find something to do. Maybe he can come in here and hit this pawn. And if knight takes, I've got a weak e4 pawn I'm hitting. I don't really have to worry about him taking right now. I think maybe just develop. Get my knight somewhere. If he takes this pawn, I can play around with the idea of this. Taking a central pawn, opening my bishop so it actually has some life. This idea is off the table unless his queen moves, because my bishop is not on the starting square. This is no delay. I have to keep that in mind. So do I want to take a central pawn? If he takes, I can take with bishop, hitting his rook. I like that idea. It removes the thought of this anymore. Maybe not completely. Can he hit my bishop? He can slide up. Or sorry, my knight. Okay, it's a tough decision. If I take here, maybe he slides up to here, helping to defend this pawn. I could potentially take here, but then my knight's still hit when he takes. I could also contemplate pushing. It doesn't seem good. I think taking back is probably best. It gives him a chance to defend it. But maybe I'm alright with that. I can pre-move this. Queen can't take because he's hitting my bishop. Yeah, it's not really where I want it to be, but he's at 2300, so the move order makes sense. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'll get both of these bishop moves in, but really you didn't. So I'll have to look at why, because there's bishop c4 is an opening for sure. It's just not something I see all the time. Sometimes when the knight retreats to here instead of b3, if you play bishop e6 too soon, knight comes into g5, it's just kind of uncomfortable for black. It's not what you want to play. This knight can swing back here in a couple scenarios, but the thing is, if I take this pawn, the same idea is here, where his queen comes up and he hits both of these. It's not the end of the world, because when I come here, if his queen takes the pawn, I can take the knight for free. He has an intermezzo check first, and then he takes here. Yeah, I removed my pre-move. Lost a quarter of a second there. I'm blocking his knight from any good squares right now. He has to defend this pawn. Normally he has f3, and so he's a little bit more advanced than I think he wants to be. It doesn't look as terrifying as it feels. If I come up here, takes, pawn takes, my bishop just takes back. Knight can come in here. I would just slide. No? Okay. Yeah. Takes. Then I've got this square if the knight comes. Okay, so I'm just thinking if I come up here, takes, the knight here seems a little tricky, but I can just slide up here. I was worried about this before, so I think it's okay. Bishop slides back. All right, so he's hitting here first. I can pre-move this. I don't think he's going to take the bishop. I'm hitting his pawn. Again, takes, bishop takes here, queen up now. Hitting this, I'm hitting this. Trying to get my bishop active. Oftentimes e4 is a weak square for white in the Najdorf when they play f4, which is the case here. I mean, if he slides somewhere, he tries to get something like this in. I mean, the bishop's already defended. I don't think he has time for that. Now the question is, I don't like taking here because my queen falls, so I'm pretty much forced. Take here, check, queen's unprotected. Taking here makes a lot more sense. Queen comes up, I can always take the knight. Okay, so this first. Again, I can pre-move this. Queen still has d3, hitting both of these, but then I think I take the bishop. Bishop indirectly protects the knight. I said bishop. Okay, so this defends this. I'm defending this a couple of times. The knight now has a square. But am I just up a pawn? No, you got this pawn, then this pawn. So it's 4 versus 4. Take with queen, forces queen trade. Take with knight, he can get this annoying thing in. Alright, I'm anticipating an endgame now. Unless there's a way I can kind of sideswipe and hit this. This looks pretty good because of the indirect checkmate. It's a pawn sacrifice for activity, because if the bishop slides, I can take the bishop and win a piece. I think this looks interesting. I'll try it real quick because I am threatening to take the bishop right away with check, which also falls into all sorts of windmill techniques to smother mate or win a rook. I've got discover tactics like this, where if the queen doesn't come to the second rank to defend mate, or one of these squares, which I just realized he can bring the queen here, but then I always have this. The thing I'm trying to avoid was this annoying pin, because what I calculated in my head real quick was knight takes, or even queen takes, knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, bishop comes to c5, rook comes over. I've just got too much action, and then I was going to move my knight and capture, and it'd be a probably inferior endgame. The question now is there a way I can reposition this knight? Because moving it once hits the rook forces this move, I think. Oh, well, I can just take the pawn and then reroute to a better square because he has to defend mate. So I think that's the easier combination. Focus on this. It's mate in one if he takes the knight. He's not going to take the knight, so I'm going to get my knight to a better square. And now the pawns are still even. Queen comes up here. I could capture the queen, force him to have a weird pawn structure in the endgame, come here, and then his bishop kind of is forced to a more passive square. Not what I anticipated, but I think I continue with my plan, because if he comes here, I can always slide. Okay, so there's a tactic here. I'm going to try it. Maybe he won't see it. If he comes here, check, wins the bishop. If he comes here, I think I can just slide this pawn up, exposing my diagonal. Okay, he didn't see it. Check. And then winning the bishop. It would have been a little bit more difficult if he played d4. I would have had to expose my pawns. The reason f6 is because the queen defends mate. But then my queen can probably have been attacked a couple of, maybe not there, but a couple of weird ways. Your opponent has left the game. Okay. Don't do that. Just resign if you're going to leave the game. That happens sometimes. Okay, claim victory. All right, good game. So that's 3 wins. 4 straight wins is black. Since I can see this thing, why does this keep getting top 200? I'll just go even higher. Seems like it keeps messing up my filters. I think the lead chess interface moves a little bit. So give me a second to get it up here. Cool. All right, that's still easily seeable. And I can see the notation. All right, cool. All right, I thought that was a really well thought out game. Definitely some stuff I could have done earlier. Nice, I gained 28 points on that one. So we're going to go to 20 to 77, something like that. 67? No, 77. Okay, I can do math sometimes. So takes, this is all standard. E5 is the most common move. This is just Najdorf English attack when you come bishop to E3. Bishop, what I was saying here was sometimes I've done this and played in a bullet. He just comes here. It's not great for black. There are better moves. But coming here, bishop E6 is actually the more common, almost 60,000 games more. Yeah, I played this. I need to be able to answer bishop C4. I didn't have one in the game. What is the most common answer? Just castling. I don't like knight bd7. I think that's probably an inaccuracy. Castling makes sense. The issue is playing b5. He's got these sneaky moves where the rook is suddenly trapped. There are some scenarios where you take back, he takes here, and that may instantly be dropping a piece. Let's see. Here, I think takes, knight takes, queen takes wins 89% of the time. Just to see the engine real quick. I think this wins a piece, right? So like b5 is just a blunder, right? Takes, if you take, it's automatically losing. Oh, because I pushed that button, I think it showed the engine. All right, I had one blunder in the game. But you're hitting this a couple of times, and this c6 square is really weak. So that's what I was trying to avoid. That's why, yeah, knight bd7, not great. All right, I've already shown the engine. Crap. Okay. castles, b5. Yeah, okay. I think a4 makes sense. So like he's just really trying to prevent b5, and because of my knight move, my bishop struggles to do anything. Like the bishop has to go to b7. The only other thing I can do is play knight bd7, but then I'm still blocking my b5. So knight bd7 is not good. Don't play that. This move didn't seem good. b5 looks good to me. Takes. Yeah, I didn't have to take the bishop. I thought if I slid over, this happens. What's the answer to that? I don't see an answer. What, black is winning? What if he takes? I know there's the check. You could also just take back, but moves over. Oh, you're hitting a couple of pieces. Let's just say he takes back. Takes whatever he takes back with you're getting here. It's an exchange. Rook. Okay. Yeah. Keep that in mind. b4. Good to know. It's just an exchange, and you give up your rook, which is not active at all, for 2. I mean, the dark squares are yours, so that's great. Okay, so this makes sense still. It said I could have captured. Yeah, maybe. I feel like this bishop has more life to him. He did not do that. He did the bishop. Now I can capture. Okay. I thought about this. I thought about this move. I feel like queen e3. No, because he takes. You're hitting both of these, but it's not a big deal, I guess. Slight edge for white, but not terrible for black. Okay. Taking back was bad. It wanted me to take here. Pawn has to take. Oh, wow. I guess he could do that. If he does take. Take. If he does take, you're hitting this more times than he can. Okay. So yeah, this whole weakness, even without the light squared bishop, like this diagonal is covered by black. Didn't think about that. Takes, bishop has to take. Okay. Yeah, I thought about this. This just loses. There are just so many tactics here where if I take, my queen is hanging. So instead, when he took here, I took that. That was my blunder. If I take here, though, again, hitting this, like b5 plays a role in blocking c4. So you're going to win the pawn back. There's multiple ways here. Let's say he does that. You can do this. Go into an endgame where your pawn up may or may not be enough. So instead of this, yeah, it's because you want to hold on to the bishop, I guess, for the long run. And if he takes, so don't just get your pieces active if he does take. Like, this knight is not as good as this bishop. And hold on to your dark squared bishop and develop your pieces, get where you need to be. Okay. It makes a lot more sense now. I guess I was greedy just trying to take this. He takes. Yeah, I found the right move. Good. I mean, it's not winning. This was an even game. I feel like he just went to the wrong spots. I did think about f5 right away, but maybe that's the right place. In the game I thought f6, but not quite right. So what about this? Really? I thought that's where the knight wants to be. Okay, so let's go back to this idea. Pushing here to get him off of protection of mate. If he comes there, what's wrong with this? Doesn't really do anything. Just trying to find an outpost for this piece. Yeah, f5. I mean, the diagonal's not huge. I'm covering it. Yeah, move out of the way, hit his queen. What if he did this move, which is what I was thinking in the game? I thought f6. f5 does the same thing. It's a little more active. There's nothing winning. It's just an even game. It's a game. Yeah, I mean, he just blundered. So, you know, it would have been an end game where we both had about 4 minutes or so left. But he fell for the tactic that I saw. I just kind of, you know, kept it in the back of my mind, and if he played it, it was a win. So, all right, good game. Thanks for watching.